All right, let's just dive right in. We're all trying to make the best decisions we can, right? But the world we live in is, well, it's fundamentally uncertain. So how do we actually deal with that? How do we go from just making a wild guess to making genuinely smarter choices when we have no idea what's coming next? I mean, think about this for a second. It's kind of funny, isn't it? We're totally fine with a range of possibilities for tomorrow's weather. But when it's something way more complex, like our financial future, we often demand this one single concrete number. This disconnect really gets to the very heart of how we all struggle with uncertainty. When a weather forecaster says there's a chance of showers, we get it. We know it's not a guarantee, it's a probability. We just intuitively understand that the future is this whole spectrum of possibilities, not just one predetermined point. So the real question is, why do we throw that kind of flexible thinking out the window for our biggest, most important decisions?
Well, it turns out this whole tension reveals two fundamentally different ways of looking at the future. It's really a choice. Are you trying to predict one single outcome, or are you preparing for many possible ones?
Okay, so the first approach is what's called a deterministic forecast. Just think of it like one of those really basic retirement calculators online. It says, hey, if you save X dollars a month and get exactly a 5% return every single year, you'll have Y dollars in 30 years. It spits out one number, one future. It's clean, it's simple, but let's be honest, life is rarely that neat. The second approach, the stochastic forecast, is a whole different ballgame. Instead of that one single straight line into the future, it simulates thousands, maybe even millions of different crooked paths. It's creating an entire landscape of possible futures, showing you not just the most likely one, but the full range of what could happen, from the best case scenario to the absolute worst. And this slide just illustrates the difference perfectly. Look at the left, that's the deterministic model. 2 bars, 2 single answers. Simple. But now look at the right. That's the stochastic model, that fan of possibilities. It literally visualizes uncertainty for you, giving you a much richer, much more realistic picture of risk and potential. It's the difference between a single snapshot and the whole story. So, how does this all play out in the real world? Well, let's take a look at how big organizations manage risk in huge areas like IT and cybersecurity. Turns out they've got specific frameworks designed for this exact challenge. This table breaks down 3 really popular frameworks, and what's so fascinating is how they each have their own philosophy for dealing with the unknown. First, you've got NIST RMF. Think of this as the super detailed, step-by-step checklist for security. It's all about creating a predictable, repeatable process. Then there's FAIR, which tries to quantify risk by putting a dollar amount on potential problems. It's trying to make uncertainty a little more concrete. And finally, COBIT is all about the big picture, making sure your IT strategy is actually helping your business goals. Each one is a different tool for trying to tame the unknown. And this quote from a CEO just hits the nail on the head. At the end of the day, the goal of these frameworks isn't just to check a bunch of boxes. It's to make sure that how you manage risk is actually adding value and supporting the mission of the whole organization. It's about making uncertainty work for you, not against you. Now let's shift gears a little and talk about data and AI, because this is where that whole one future versus many debate gets really, really exciting. How should we be using these massive amounts of data that we have at our fingertips? So the first impulse, and honestly where a ton of AI research is focused, is on prediction. The goal is simple. Build a model that can predict a single future outcome with the highest possible accuracy. It's all about getting that one right answer. And we've gotten unbelievably good at it. This slide shows an F1 score of 0.999. Now, an F1 score is just a fancy way of measuring accuracy, where 1.0 is a perfect score. So getting a 0.999 for a model that's detecting super complex cyber attacks, that's almost perfect. It's incredible. It means the model can predict an attack with near flawless accuracy. This is the absolute peak of that predict one future mindset.
But there's another way. Instead of pouring all of our energy into predicting one future perfectly, what if we use data to prepare for many possible futures? The goal suddenly shifts from accuracy to adaptability.
And this brings us to this powerful concept called robust optimization. The idea here isn't to find the single best solution for the most likely future. It's to find a solution that's good enough across a whole range of futures, especially the really bad ones. It's a philosophy that chooses being prepared over being perfect. So the crucial point here is that all of these ideas we've talked about, stochastic forecasts, those risk frameworks, robust optimization, they're all pointing toward one single ultimate goal:
And that goal is robustness. A robust strategy isn't fragile. It doesn't just shatter the moment the future doesn't unfold exactly as you planned. It's a strategy that performs well, whether things go right, a little bit wrong, or even a whole lot wrong.
And robustness is the absolute foundation of an even more powerful idea, resilience. And this concept is everywhere. In nature, a forest that can regrow after a fire, that's resilient. In business, a supply chain that doesn't collapse when one factory shuts down is resilient. In technology, a computer network that can withstand an attack and keep running, that's resilient. In every single case, it's the ability to absorb shocks, adapt, and just keep functioning no matter what the future decides to throw at you.
So, this is the question I really want to leave you with. In your work, in your planning, even in your life, are you chasing the illusion of a single, predictable future? Or are you building a strategy that's robust enough to thrive in the complex, uncertain, and fascinating world we actually live in? Because the choice you make doesn't just change your plan, it changes absolutely everything.